welcome everybody to today's CESI Talks. Today, I'm very pleased to be able to welcome Radka Maxová from the Czech Republic. Mrs. Maxová is member of the European Parliament, member of the SND group, very important vice chairwoman of the Committee on Women's Rights and Gender Equality, and in the given context, also very important member of the Special Committee on Foreign Interference. Mrs. Maxová, welcome. Women at work in Europe today. How has the EU improved the position of women? I would say both in civil life, but also at work.
Thank you for your invitation. I am and I always was dedicated to supporting women in the EU labor market and as whole. Apart from other things, this is also about finding a balance between professional and family life, and sometimes also between personal life, as I am well aware of myself as a politician with 2 children. Overall, the EU has improved the position of women on the labor market significantly over the years. We should celebrate these achievements for the empowerment and independence they brought to women. We shouldn't stop there, however, we need to continue. Women still face many challenges when it comes to gender equality on the labor market. For example, women in corporate leadership roles are still very underrepresented. This is to this end, the EU is going to support both public and private organizations by financing their policies in order to better implement the equal employment policies on a local level. In the Parliament, we are now discussing the so-called Transparency Directive. We should pave the way towards equal salaries for women and both.
You mentioned also some directives which have to be implemented now in the future. We'll also look back maybe a little bit to the work-life balance directive, which was, I think, adopted in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. What we like very much is that in this directive is also that the focus was put also on the kind of responsibility for both parents. So it was not only about giving rights, more rights, but it's also trying to improve a change of attitude, in this case, especially men, to also proceed to take over childcare work or care work in general. So just to have a change in the spirit also of the people. Do you think this is the right approach?
Yes, I think this is the right approach, but sometimes we are in defense of conservative politicians, and also it is very much about stereotypes roles. And we need, I think that we need more men in this area, in this work-life balance, in transparency, pay gap, and so on. We need to also very much explain how important is work-life balance directive, work-life balance for women, for men, for children, and for all society.
Ms. Maxová, you mentioned the Women on Boards directive. You mentioned the directive which is still under negotiation on pay transparency, and you referred to the minimum wage directive. How important are trade unions for the implementation of these directives?
Very, very much. I think trade unions have a very important role because it is a question about the quality of labor market, about work condition, about salary, about equality, but it is a responsibility of member states because I know that, for example, in France, trade union are very strong, and for example, in Czech Republic, I think that we need more work with trade union because sometimes we have the same problem as different countries. I think it's very, very important, but it is question for member states and also for labor union, trade union themselves.
And we also think that this, excuse me, the minimum wage directive also can be some kind of vehicle to increase the collective bargaining coverage, because some of the articles also refer to the fact that if collective bargaining coverage is lower than 80%, member states should proceed to have special activities, special action plans to increase this collective bargaining coverage. And of course, we believe this is then in the overall interest of workers. Ms. Maxová, we speak about digitalization of work, new forms of work. What are the opportunities? What are the risks in particular for women?
Whether digitalization of work is a big opportunity or a risk for the participation of women in employment depends on policy. Women are currently underrepresented in the fields experiencing job growth, such as, for example, engineering, science, and IT. Even if we have more than 55% students in university are women. This is a shame, as women bring important knowledge, skill sets, and ideas to engineering business, because women are different than men, and it's smart for companies to foster gender equality and diversity in their hiring practices. This raises a question of what can we do to achieve that. First of all, we should promote incentives which provide women with the right skills from an early age. Here is, I think, it is also fighting with stereotypes. And further, we must find ways to boost women's career progression. The Work-Life Balance Directive and Women on Boards Directive are a great step in this regard, as we mentioned. And finally, we must support women as they change job because of automation with training and benefits that are linked to them as individuals, like the individuals training accounts in France. I think that we need more women in digitalization because they are different from men. And if we will talk about artificial intelligence, it is the same problem.
Ms. Maxová, as a final question, we are the European Parliament has faced the so-called Qatar scandal. You're a member of the Special Committee on Foreign Interference. What can we learn from it? What should be done in the future? And what is your prediction? Because, I mean, we are, to be honest, a little bit worried, not too much, but a little bit worried that this might also severely impact the 2024 elections, because you can do as many good things, the bad thing will be remembered most. What do you think should be done now, also in view of the 2024 elections?
I really can say that I was shocked with Qatargate, really shocked. And SND was very attacked these affairs. Suspicions against prominent European officials need to be thoroughly investigated at the international level. Corrupt behavior is particularly dangerous. I personally regret this, really regret, because I consider my position as an MEP to be a service to the people. And this scandal gets a bad light on all MEPs, not only for which are involved in Qatargate, regardless of their involvement in this scandal. Since the case was supposed to concern mainly people from my group SND, which I am a member of, we took it upon ourselves to swiftly propose remedies. The leader of SND, Irache Garcia, has been determined to act with absolute transparency to regain citizens' trust in our group, in our work, and in the European Parliament as a whole since the first date of Qatargate scandal broke. In January 2023, this year, SND adopted 15-point action plan that strengthened the rules for MEP already in place. The specific measures consist of, for example, forbidding MEPs from keeping gifts above 100 euros, enhancement of whistleblower protection, stronger protection, setting up a special committee on integrity, transparency, and corruption within the European Parliament, and ensuring a more effective and transparent system of stricter sanction against MEPs and former MEPs working for outside interest. If MEPs were found not complying with ethics, rules, and regulations, sanctioned must be really included the option of financial penalties. This is only some points, and we are discussing very deeply the other points, and I think that we need agreed these points as a European Parliament as whole.
Ms. Maxová, many thanks for your time. All the best to you. We will certainly stay in touch also regarding different dossiers, and all the best, of course, also when it comes to getting over this scandal, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you very much for your invitation.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.